Vessi's. You've probably heard of them before. Basically every YouTuber is taking a sponsorship from Vessi's at this point.
Big thank you to Vessi.
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 The magical waterproof shoes that protect your socks from getting wet. You've definitely heard of them before at this point if you've been watching YouTube and haven't been living under a rock. So I'm not going to get really much into it. Really much? I'm not going to get very much into it, but you've probably heard of them before. Seriously, if you've been watching YouTube or haven't been living under a rock, there's a good chance you've heard of them before. They're basically everywhere at this point. The gist is, they're really good waterproof shoes, and they use Dymatex technology. I have no idea what Dymatex technology is. It's some sort of like marketing limbo, but does it actually work? I've used this pair of Vessi's for about a year now. They've been my main pair of shoes for a while. Are they still waterproof? Well, the short answer is no. Sort of. These here are my pair of Vessi's, the weekend sneakers. They've got that like mix between a running shoe and like Vans or Converse. As you can see, they've definitely had their fair share of usage throughout the past year. I'm actually kind of impressed of how much they've held up. Other shoes I've had would have torn or broken within like just over half a year, but these ones have definitely surpassed my expectations. I've taken these shoes everywhere, from going hiking to going walking on the 120-degree concrete in Arizona. Seriously, Arizona is incredibly hot and their concrete is, you could fry an egg on it. It's actually super hot. Like, it's crazy. I had a pair of flip-flops and I went to the corner store just across the street, and when I got back, they had melted and I had to get a new pair. Seriously, that concrete is really hot. And these things here held up. It's kind of crazy, actually. There's no noticeable melting. Like, you can see there's some cracks and stuff from where the sneaker like moved, but there's not actually any like melting or anything. Well, except for the bottom, but we'll get into that. Cleaning these shoes are actually very simple. Seriously. The ones I have are machine washable, which means I just gotta stick them in a mesh bag and throw them in the washing machine and they work. So I put them in this mesh bag and threw them in the washing machine. They came out and I noticed there was these like letters on the bottom. I don't know what they were, but it looks like they said ESC, but they were still kind of dirty, so I put them in the washing machine again. When they came out, they were clean, and I put them to dry outside in the sun. Now, the insides of the shoe have definitely seen some better days. There are tons of holes, and as you can see, it's definitely lost its like stickiness. Definitely not great. And also, the inside of the shoe is better. The inner lining is definitely wearing down. They definitely aren't brand new, but they're still comfortable. I've definitely worn them in. They're definitely still very comfortable. The inner padding is still there. The outside of the shoe is completely fine, besides, you know, the bottom getting a little smushed and melted and whatever. Other than that, like, it still looks pretty okay. Like, they look fine. They're pretty good. Like, it still looks pretty good even after washing it, even after using it for a year. Besides the inside, which, you know, you can see, the outside looks almost brand new. Like, besides for a couple of little scratches or, you know, little creases on the bottom here, it's actually completely fine. And if you weren't looking at it super closely and were just walking by someone who had them on, you probably wouldn't even notice it. So if that's all fine and dandy, are they still waterproof? Well, as Linus Tech Tips famously said,
I say nothing is waterproof. So we've had some discussions with Vessi about this particular talking point. They say waterproof. I say nothing is waterproof.
which is correct. If I'm walking through a patch of grass that's just gotten rained on, it's gonna work. It's gonna protect it from water. But if I stand in a puddle for a couple seconds to a minute, eventually water will seep through. Were they this way when I bought them? No. I could stand in a puddle for as long as I wanted and water would never seep through. But after all these months of wear and tear, eventually they will break down. They aren't completely waterproof anymore, but they're still definitely water resistant to a degree that I would be completely fine wearing them anywhere where there's water. I am not scared that my socks are gonna get wet. I just avoid huge puddles. But if I had put them in a puddle and left it there for a couple minutes, then yeah, eventually water would seep through. But even just walking through grass or just stepping through a small little puddle, it's completely fine. Okay, so the answer to the question, are Vessi still waterproof? No, but they are very water resistant, and water has a very hard time getting through these shoes even now. Plus, these shoes are way better at resisting water than any other shoes I've used in the past. So, would I recommend Vessi's? If you live in somewhere that rains a lot, like Washington State, yeah, totally. That amount of water definitely justifies the price. These pair that I got were $125, but I used some discount code and was able to get them down to around $100. Even then, it's kind of expensive, but if you can justify the price of paying that much money on shoes, then they are definitely worth it. Even in places that it doesn't get a lot of rain, like Arizona. I'd still definitely recommend these shoes as they are very durable and they have yet to melt completely like those flip-flops that I have. They're still very durable and will last you at least a year, maybe more. I don't plan on paying for another pair of Vessis within the next couple months. I'm gonna keep using these. But once those actually become just unusable, then yeah, I'll go and buy another pair. Besides just a couple of tears on the outside and the inside getting the inner lining a little messed up, it's still very comfortable. And if you can justify the price of spending $100+ on shoes, then yeah, they're pretty durable, and I would totally recommend them. They'll last at least a year, maybe even more. Other than that, the shoes are just great overall. Although they don't stay waterproof forever, they're still very water resistant, and they'll definitely protect you from water just walking around your normal everyday. Anyway, that's all I got. See ya.